right, so welcome everyone. It's so great to see all of you today. We are welcoming Jordan Setzer back. She is a dietetic intern with Nutrition and Family Sciences. So thank you to Jordan for being here, for Dr. Landry for helping to coordinate this, and for your partnership. We always appreciate your support of BeWell. Again, we've talked a little bit and we've chatted a little bit at the beginning, but this is all about plant-based eating. Jordan's going to guide us through the session. And just a couple of notes. She's going to share a handout at the end. We'll put that in the chat. Please ask questions throughout. The chat function is there for you. Dr. Landry and I will monitor that while Jordan is speaking. If you are wanting your lifestyle rewards, we will take care of that at the end. I'll share the process for that. And at the end, we'll also have a very short session evaluation that I'll share in the chat as well. So without further ado, Jordan, you can take it away.
Thanks, Mariah. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another semester of BeWell cooking demos. Like Mariah said, my name is Jordan, and I'm so happy to be here with all of you today. This semester is super exciting because instead of focusing so much on cooking demonstrations, we will be doing that still, but our focus will mainly be on nutrition education. And this is super exciting because everything that we teach you will be something that you can actually apply to any recipe that you come across yourself instead of just the few that we provide you with. So yes, this semester will be full of new recipes, education, and topics all placed together to help you meet your nutrition goals. If you have yet to set your nutrition goals, I highly recommend that. And you can use the resources on the BeWell page. So Mariah, if you want to put the link in the chat box, that would be great. But these will help you go through and make a SMART goal. And what I love about these goals is that while we're having these sessions, you can like visualize your goal and be able to take away tiny pieces of what I say and apply them specifically to your own health needs. Any questions along the way that you have, please feel free to put them in the chat box below, and we'll be answering them probably as we go or at the end if we don't get to them. Okay, so plant-based eating is all we are talking about today, which is super fun. It has become more and more popular here recently. And this type of eating focuses on foods that are primarily from plants. So this includes things like fruits and vegetables, whole grains, legumes, and beans, nuts, nut butters, and oils. But everything that we are eating is from plants. This does not mean that you are vegan or vegetarian or that you're omitting meat or dairy food groups as a whole. This just means that you are consciously choosing more of your food from plant sources. So one reason that this topic has become super popular here lately is because of all of the health benefits that a plant-based diet provides. Things like lower cholesterol, lower saturated fat intake, which help our hearts stay healthy. But because of the things that we are omitting, to some extent, a plant-based diet has to be well planned. So we need to make sure that we're not simply substituting things like meat and dairy for refined carbohydrates like simple pastas and breads, or even like the packaged products that you see in the stores lately that love to market to people who love plant-based things. A lot of times those aren't super healthy. So we want to make sure that our diet is moderate, balanced, and that we're pulling from food groups, even if we're not so much in the meat and dairy sections. So before we kind of talk about plant-based meats, I just want to go over a general plant-based diet and talk specifically about what it entails. So I'm just going to do that by going through a couple of questions that a lot of people have. Probably one of the most common questions that surrounds a plant-based diet is the idea of protein. Will I get enough protein on a plant-based diet? You should be wondering this because we're not eating meat. And I think this is what throws a lot of people for a loop because we hear that we get protein from animals. but there are different kinds of protein. So when you have an animal, when you consume an animal like a hamburger or chicken or fish, you're getting complete proteins. And what this means is that you don't need another protein to complement it to make sure it's complete. However, when we're dealing with plants, although they have some protein, it's incomplete protein. So the best way to kind of explain this is kind of like a puzzle piece. You have two pieces of the puzzle, they fit together and form a complete puzzle piece, or, but the same thing with plants. So I take brown rice and I take black beans and put them together and it forms a complete protein. Just because they have different ones, they just go together. So yes, you can get an adequate amount of protein on a plant-based diet, but it is important to consult with a dietitian or another healthcare provider to make sure that you're getting enough protein for your specific needs. Another question that is super popular is, what are the best sources of calcium on a plant-based diet? We are not drinking milk, we're not eating cheese, so where can we find it? Leafy green vegetables like broccoli, kale, collard greens, Brussels sprouts are all loaded with calcium. In fact, about 1 cup of kale contains 20% of our daily recommended amounts of calcium, which is around 1,000 milligrams, if you were wondering. But again, just to be sure that you're getting all of the calcium that your body needs for strong bones, make sure that you consult with a registered dietitian if you're following a strict plant-based, vegan, vegetarian diet. Another question, why should we be eating a low-fat plant-based diet? Well, there are several diets out there, but a diet focused on fruits and vegetables, whole grains, beans, legumes, avoid saturated fats that are associated with high cholesterol, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, and other conditions. But it's not just that we are avoiding things, it's that we are taking in so many good things. So when we focus on getting a lot of the plant sources, we actually get a lot of benefits, like tons of vitamins and minerals like potassium, vitamin C, magnesium, things that are abundant in plant and essential for our health and every process that goes on in our body. So whenever you think about a diet, this is a good mindset to have as well. It's not necessarily about avoiding things. It's more of how many good things can I put in my body to help me reach my goals. It's way less restrictive than we sometimes make it seem. When you're on a plant-based diet, what supplements do you need? Because you're not getting those animal sources, you're going to want to get an outside source of vitamin B12 that's usually found in animal products. Because we want to make sure that you're getting a safe amount or enough, we need to make sure that we're consulting with healthcare providers and, again, registered dietitians just to be sure. And finally, probably the second most common question received about plant-based diets is, will a plant-based diet lead to weight loss? Plant-based diets are high in fiber, and this means that we get full faster without consuming excess calories. So yes, could it help with weight loss? Of course, because you're getting full without eating so much. But just like any other way of eating, when you focus on eating healthier, you almost automatically reduce your calories, you increase your water intake, whether it's through water that you're drinking or water that you're eating through the fruits and vegetables. And also, we're focusing more on quality over quantity. So for example, when we look at Chinese fried rice, we see a huge to-go box of a lot of fried rice, not that a lot of saturated fat, not that many good nutritious vegetables. What we're doing here is we're switching over and we're saying, how can we make this at home with whole grain rice, fresh vegetables, maybe add extra vegetable. So you're getting more of that fiber and filling up faster than you would if you were to eat all of the rice. Does that make sense? Okay. So now to go to plant-based meats, with KFC's release of their new, what is it, the Beyond Chicken, and the Impossible Whopper coming out and popping up everywhere, we wanted to take some time to address plant-based meats. So pretty much what plant-based meats are is they're substitutes for anybody who is wanting to reduce the intake of meat or simply omit it out of their diet as a whole. These usually are made up of soy, wheat, nuts and seeds, vegetables, grains, things like that. Although plant-based choices may add things like fiber or different micronutrients that we wouldn't get with a simply plant or meat-based options, it does not always mean that they're healthier. Sometimes they have a lot more sodium or preservatives than meat sources, and this is often to make them taste better, to be honest. However, plant-based options do reduce your intake of red meat. So the red meat is what causes problems with our heart. So reducing that is always a good idea. But just to show you, we're going to take a look at some labels from Burger King and KFC. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So here we have the Beyond Fried Chicken and the KFC fried wings. I put them to where they're almost the same serving size, so you can see it in comparison. So over here for the chicken, we have 480 calories compared to 380 for the regular wings. That's about 100 calories more. We have 27 grams of fat, which is less than the regular wings. We have no cholesterol, which if we look over on our right, it's 95 milligrams. Sodium, we have almost double that of regular wings. And then carbohydrates are obviously more because we're using plants and not animal. And then our protein is actually higher, and we can see that we're getting our protein from soy, which is an excellent source of protein on a plant-based diet. So you can see here that your sodium is super, super high. So it's not always that it's the healthier option. And then to look at Burger King, the Impossible Whopper and the Whopper are almost comparable with calories, fats, saturated fats, cholesterol is a little less, and then sodium is a little more as well. Carbohydrates are more, fiber is more because we're getting the plant, a little more with the sugar and a little less with the protein on the Impossible Whopper. So I just wanted to share those with you guys so you could see just that it's not always the best option. It's not always the most healthy, but there are other options that you can either make or find in the frozen section or the fresh section that are so much better than these two fast food options that we've listed today. So with any product you eat, it's important that you are aware of its nutritional value. So when you choose a plant-based product, be sure to choose one that's low in sodium, sugar, saturated fat, and preservatives. And I have sent Mariah a little handout to kind of give you a guideline as to what those numbers should kind of look like when you're looking at any labels. Okay, so now that we've gone over kind of general, what's a plant-based meal, what's a plant-based diet, what is a plant-based meat, I just wanted to give you guys some takeaways so that you can actually apply this in your own life, because sometimes it can seem overwhelming and expensive and like you just can't get everyone in your household to get on board almost. So a few takeaways for today. One tip to get more vegetables and fruits in is to fill half of your plate at any meal, lunch, dinner, and fruit, even for breakfast, with vegetables. So if you look at it, it's half of it, and then the rest you can do grains and meat. if you would like. Even when you're snacking throughout the day, some awesome options for snacks are hummus, salsa, guacamole with some sliced vegetables as well. You can include whole grains for breakfast easily. We can start our day getting all of the fiber that we need with oatmeal, quinoa, or barley. You can add some fresh fruit to that or some honey and some nut milk if you want to not do dairy. So personally, I love almond milk. Just make sure you, with any store-bought item, you look at the sugars and the fats. Another tip is to eat fruit for dessert. So a lot of us have sweet tooths after dinner, and sugar is kind of what brings on satiety. I can never say that word. It makes you feel satisfied. So an option for dessert, instead of reaching for your processed desserts, you could do fruit or like an apple, roasted apples, roasted peaches, anything depending on the season that sounds good to you. Another way to kind of implement more plant-based things is to get your family involved. And a huge way to do this is to make a one night a week thing. So say you don't want to go full vegetarian or full vegan. You could do meatless Mondays or tacos Tuesdays with plant-based options, things that would make your family excited to get involved. And you wouldn't get as much of an uproar of, we don't want to omit meat. That's just a simple way to decrease some of that meat that you're consuming throughout your week. So before I wrap up today, I did bring some things that are all plant-based, and I just wanted to introduce them to you and show you some options that you can buy at Kroger, Walmart. I wish we had an Aldi's, if y'all know what that is, Trader Joe's, anywhere you would like. I have here steel cut oats. This is an awesome option. These have less processing going in them because they're not rolled. And processing just means how many people are managing it and rolling out the oats. So not that whole oats are not bad, but steel cut oats do have a lot of fiber. Quinoa. I love quinoa because it has a lot of protein for a grain. You can make them savory or sweet, surprisingly. There are tons of recipes for that. Another one of my favorites is red lentil spaghetti. So obviously any spaghetti is fine, but I love red lentil spaghetti because it has 6 grams of fiber, only 1 gram of sugar, and 13 grams of protein. So a lot of your protein can be found in here, and you can easily put this in a pot with marinara, plant-based Alfredo, olive oil, lemon, juice, basil, pesto, anything that you would like. Any way that you would prepare normal pasta. I brought some black beans. I just wanted to show y'all, a lot of the cans will have a no salt added plaque here, or you can just look at the serving label and find the sodium right here. Same with the almond butter. It's important to look at your ingredients. I love going for the nut butters that usually only have one ingredient. Like this one says it only has dry roasted almonds. A lot of them have other oils added, and sometimes those aren't the healthiest oils. So it's important to look and see your ingredients. The fewer, the better. And then we have some hummus. This is from Trader Joe's. It is my favorite hummus, in my opinion. And it's super inexpensive, but it's great to put on wraps or dip your vegetables into, put on a salad or tacos. This is also from Trader Joe's, rice cauliflower. This is it's just cauliflower stir fry, and you just put it in there with like a tablespoon of olive oil, and it is so yummy and has all fresh ingredients, all vegetables. And then finally, one of my favorite snacks that has a lot of fiber and some good protein is just some edamame. You can buy these anywhere, let them thaw out or microwave or cook them in a pot with water. And yeah, they just make a really good snack, and you can put some sea salt on it or some soy sauce, things like that. But I believe that Mariah sent the little handout in the thing, but if you have any questions, please reach out. And with that, I am done.
Jordan, that was excellent information. And we've got some wonderful dialogue in the chat, lots of great questions. Dr. Landry is fielding those and doing a great job. Continue. If you've got something added to the chat, I also open up the floor for questions. And while we're kind of sorting out questions and answers, I'm going to pull up my slide that shares how you can get your lifestyle reward points. So just give me a moment. I will do that. Awkward pause, always the case. Here we go. All right, hopefully y'all can see that. And so this is how we normally do this. If you want to take a screenshot or a snip or a photo of this slide, you can easily load it up to my Health Check 360 using the mobile app. If that makes no sense to you, I'm also going to pop a link in the chat. I've not done this in the past, but I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to pop a PDF into the chat, and that will give you exactly the same thing, just in a PDF format, proper proof of attendance. So that will work also. So sorry, multitasking is not my forte. All right, so here comes the certificate of attendance for today. If you want to download that, that'll be fine too. Just don't send it to me. Please load it up to your account. And then I'm also going to pop a session evaluation link in the chat as well. This is super helpful for Jordan. She gets this feedback, and you can let her know how she did, any ways that we can, any ways that she can improve, or what you liked or what you didn't like, or any future session topics that you would like. I'm not sure what my screen sharing is doing right now. I'm going to share this one more time. Sorry, y'all. There we go. Hopefully y'all can see this. Let me check the chat one more time, see if we've got anything for the good of the whole. All right. So again, you're looking in the chat for the handout that Jordan created, which is a nice summary, great tips and tricks. You've got the optional PDF download of the certificate of attendance for today, and then that session evaluation. We'll stay on for just a few moments to answer any lingering questions. But thank you all for attending today. We will see you next time. Have a great afternoon.